morning, friends. Welcome to Skullface Theater, where today we'll be looking at the artsy fartsy Transformers Legacy book. And I'm really just having a go. It's a great book. I thought we'd take a look at it because a lot of people have been talking about it online. It's gotten a lot of buzz, a lot of hype. So I figured we'd take a look at it. It's $50, so it's not a it's not your average $25 pickup at your local Barnes & Noble. I got it off of Barnes & Noble, I think, or maybe Amazon with a coupon, and it didn't end up being that bad. I don't remember what it was. It's all funny money to me anyway. It's quite good. It's hardcover or hardback, however you want to say it. It's got the box art here, famous in the front, and then the Megatron box art on the back. And it is not 100% complete of all of the art, but it basically contains all the box art of Transformers G1, G2, and the Japanese Transformers, and the European Transformers as well. It was a huge undertaking. I've listened to the guys talk about it. I mean, they archived everything they possibly could, from Hasbro to Takara to trying to get some of the Diaclone stuff and Microman or whatever it was called, and they even reached out to the fan community and, you know, contacted the fans that had some of the stuff they were missing, reached out to them, got scans, you know, obviously touched them up, and I mean, pretty much every picture in here is absolutely spotless. It's beautifully redone. I'm sure it was a huge undertaking, and they really did it justice. There's a picture in here with Jazz, and it looks like he's run over a human. I find that somewhat bizarre. I'd like to know a little bit more of the history behind that. But that being said, it is it's like, I mean, can you see it? It's dripping with love. There's a lot of love that went into this, and you can tell when you look through it. Now, I'm a book fan. I like to have a book. I like to look through books. I'm a book guy. So if it's not really your thing, if this is your first one, you may not enjoy it as much because the art is pretty crude. Kind of, it's like beautiful, ugly. It's like, you're familiar with it. You've seen it on the box art. You know what it looks like. You know what you're getting into. If you can appreciate it, or if it takes you down that trip of memory lane, then you're going to love it. If you don't have that much of an appreciation for it, it's an easy skip. My only gripe and complaint with it is that there's not a lot to it word-wise. There's some introduction stuff, and every now and then there's a quick little blip, especially when they get into the different sections. There's a lot of quick little blips, but there's not a lot to it word-wise. I would have loved if they would have gone into descriptions on as much as they could, like, you know, who the artists were, and, you know, where they're at now and stuff like that. And if they would have gone into like some of the stuff that was harder to find and what they had to go through to track this particular piece down, and why it was so difficult and why it was so scarce and all that kind of stuff, I would have loved that. There's not really a whole lot of that in here. It's pretty much just a presentation of the art, but they do obviously love what they're doing, and it comes across beautifully. There's even some stuff in here where they've had edits, like they've had pictures that the artists have originally brought to, I guess, their supervisors, and they've given them edits and tell them to go back to the old drawing board, and, as it were, and start again. And that's cool to see. And like, I like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. I'm sure they didn't get a whole lot of that, which is why they didn't include a whole lot of that, because I think they would have. It wouldn't have taken much writing on their part and what have you. But it's quite nice. Like, I'm happy I have it. And cool thing about it is a lot of this stuff was in danger of being gone forever. And like, in this digital world that we live in, it's kind of even hard to like recognize that as a possible threat. You know, like, people just don't care about things anymore, because you can always just, oh, you know, CD, to hell with it. It can get scratched up. I'll just download another one online. Or this one, whatever, I'll download it off my network. Everybody with their networks and what have you. And the thing about this is, it's preserved. and since it's been cleaned up and touched up, now those files are reserved. And like, this is really like, it's not only is it a love letter to the fandom, but it's really like, I mean, we should kind of be thanking them. Like, I know that sounds pretentious, but they've gone through the effort of preserving this body of work that may have been lost forever. In some cases, may already have been. The pieces that they didn't pick up, that may be gone forever. You know? Or it's sitting in a dump somewhere, you know, because it happens. And we don't really take that into consideration, and I'm glad we did. It'll look great on your shelf. Some people are trying to kind of pawn it off as a coffee table book. I'm not sure how that would work out.
What is this on the coffee table?
What on the coffee? Oh, this Transformers Legacy. It's my Transformers box art. It's a good coffee table book.
No, it doesn't belong on my coffee table.
It looks fine on the coffee table. It's a good place for it. It's classy.
No,
it's art.
It's not classy. It doesn't belong on the kitchen table. I mean,
can you believe her?
Coffee table.
Can you believe her? It does. It does. It's a nice accent.
I handpicked every one of the books on the coffee table.
You handpicked every one. Oh, but Borders Books and Music's 50% off rack. Yeah, I know where you handpicked it from.
Get it off.
I'm not. Where am I going to put it? I'm not going to put it on a shelf down here with a bunch of toys.
Well, you have an entire basement. I'm sure you can find a shelf somewhere.
Yeah. I think it's an appropriate thing.
Well, maybe we should just put clown shoes as a centerpiece in the middle of the dining room table.
Oh yeah. Now you're so funny. You're funny. You're so funny.
I don't even know why I stay with you.
I do. It's called prenuptial agreement. But I guess it depends on what kind of friends you're having over and what kind of people you hang around normally. But it's, you know, it's not a real. It's classy for what it is. Like, they did a classy job for what it is. They could have stepped it up a notch with a lot more information. I would have been interested in reading that information. I think maybe some of you would have been too. But the effort here, the work here, the hunt that I'm sure was a huge undertaking for these guys. It is an impressive body of work, and I take my hat off to them. I really do. I'm appreciative, and I showed my sign of appreciation by picking it up. And I highly recommend it, especially if you're a G1 guy. If you grew up in the 80s, like this, you need this in your life. You'll laugh. You know, like, I found myself laughing, like, oh my God, I remember that. Like, I remember looking at that and looking at the toy and thinking about the cartoon and remembering how different it all seemed. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff about this. So if you're into Transformers, if you're into G1, if you grew up during G1, if you have an appreciation for that art, if you have appreciation for the packaging, pick this up. Do yourself a favor. And if that's not you, easy skip. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Till next time, take care.